Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Greybeardz. My name's Wayne, and to my left, good friend Bug. Good morning, Bug.
Good morning, Wayne. Yeah,
Uh,
what's going on?
Another day in the neighborhood. Looks like rain today as I peer out the window from the trailer house here.
Hold
Looks
on,
like
my bag phone is ringing. Let me see who it is.
uh yeah, we talked about that earlier. We have us
Talked
over.
about the bag phone. Resurrected it from the late 80s, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't worry, Kyle. I'm not going to use it because it costs $5 a minute.
yeah. I remember those days.
Yeah,
You think about the past things that we thought were cutting edge technology and
yeah,
whatever. It's
yeah.
crazy. I don't.
Insane.
It's just those nice Yeah, I have one. I just fired one up yesterday. I had it out in a drawer out in my shop. And
Yeah.
it actually worked and it turned on and I was like, the
Wow.
battery's not even dead. I haven't touched it in years,
That's
like
crazy.
4 or 5 years. I hadn't even messed with it.
Hmm.
Crazy that it still has a charge in the battery. But that's a
Speaking of,
testament. It was a Motorola flip phone like that. Testament to how things were good. You know, they they
yeah,
just worked, right?
it was made to last. You know what I'm saying?
I I will
People
tell
ethics
you,
were high.
mine won't show up. I don't think
I see it.
my little idiot phone here that I've had 5 years or something. I don't even know.
Mhm. Yeah.
I, I've had it a long time. It's a little warm. It says charging is interrupted because it got warm because we were talking on the video talk.
Yeah. Facts.
But uh today,
Today.
so next week is an important day for everybody, right?
Hmm.
And I want to say it at least here where we're at, it's June 9th, I think. The 9th. Was that Tuesday
Don't
or
ask me.
whatever? I don't know,
Hmm.
whatever day the 9th is voting in our state, for
Hmm.
governor and our Congress, U.S. Congress reps or Senate, whatever.
Hmm.
We talked a little bit earlier about getting the vote out, get out and vote. So the message I want everybody to hear is get out there and vote, right? Have your voice be heard. You only get one. It's just one vote you get, right? And it can make the difference. You have your family behind you. Voting is important. To their future.
Yeah.
The young people out there.
Yeah.
Uh,
Bernadette, she votes.
yeah,
Jada wants to vote. Peaches and Orange, she votes, and her husband votes.
yeah.
Jada's other sister with the kind of blondish hair. I don't
Mm,
know if she voted or not, but she
yeah.
probably does. Then the guy with the
Ah,
cowboy hat. Yeah.
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 Uh,
Vote for the president.
what'd you call him? What'd you call yourself? Bravo Bob in that picture?
Yeah. Bravo, Bob.
Yeah.
Bravo, bravo, bravo.
Yeah. That's an inside joke, everybody. It's
Yeah.
that's I
Speaking of
think
Whiskey Bob, I
hmm
think he's back in town. Shout out to Whiskey Bob.
hmm
He's
Yep.
back from his trip to
Yep.
Ohio. I think he
He
made it
went
back
to
safe.
that state that's round on both ends and high in the middle.
Uh-huh. So I can stay out. But yeah, the vote. So what's up? What's going
Well,
on?
that's the thing, the voting. I've been watching. I'm kind of more interested in the governor race because the governor has a lot of influence on where the state um, is going to be doing for the whatever term. What is it? 4 years, I think they get, or two, whatever it is. The direction of the state. They have a lot of influence on taxes and development. What the state. and our way our government runs, the states have a lot of power in what your daily life is going to be like.
A key indicator to who you should vote for, and we briefly spoke about this. If folks are coming to your state to live,
Hmm.
you probably should vote for the incumbent, okay? If people are leaving your state, going to another state, you probably should switch whatever party that's behind the driver's wheel. They're doing something wrong. It's not that hard, people. And Wayne and I was talking about, which states are doing good and which states are doing bad, you know?
But yeah, it's
And
not only the
just look at
state,
that.
not only the
Yeah,
state, but also the municipality, right? The
yeah, same,
cities,
same. Yeah,
um,
exactly. Yeah, I
and
mean, those are indicators.
and I want to kind of defend the blue run cities in a sense. I'm going to defend them a little bit because,
Let's see how that go. Do it.
well, in their defense of they have these cities that I'll name Los Angeles, Chicago, DC, Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York City. A lot of these are very large, have a very large populace, right? And there's a lot of people to cater to, and it's very difficult when now that there's no excuse for poorly run cities where it's a you're trying to cater to so many people, right? There's so many voices compared to say where we live, you know, the small town, where you live is a very small municipality, right? Where I
Hmm.
live, I mean, I'm not in the country, but the city that services my area,
It's thriving.
it is thriving, but it is also growing. And as it grows, more people come in, more different, there's more variety of interests and needs, right? And it's difficult. And this is where my defense comes in. That's a very, very difficult job in a sense. We don't see it necessarily in a smaller community, these problems, but they do exist, right? Homelessness, crime, um, what is infrastructure issues, your roads and utility problems. Those are things that still exist, but they're just not as nationally known, right? You know, in that scale. You're talking millions of people versus less than 10,000 or 20,000 or less than
Mhm.
100,000, whatever. And it makes it difficult to, I mean, it's easy to point fingers and blame this party's ineffectiveness or that party's lack of, care, whatever it is, right?
Hmm. There are cities in red states. Just saying. Dallas, Houston, you know what I'm saying? You got cities in red states, Atlanta, Columbia, Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? They have large cities as well.
Yeah.
You know,
But a lot of
so
those, but see, you say a red state, you can be a
mhm,
red state, but have a
a blue
um,
city. You get
blue
it?
city, right?
Yeah. But they're
And
still doing well. Even the cities in the red states, the cities in the red states seem to be doing better than the
but I
cities in the
think
blue states. Mhm.
again, to the defense of these blue run cities or states, what have you,
Mhm.
is that they don't know how to fix the problem, right? They don't go to the core, where the core that, in my opinion, this is my opinion, just like everybody, we all have one,
Mhm.
is there is a breakdown in morality in this country. It's been going on for a very long time.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, it really is. My wife and I had this discussion last night about the state of the welfare um, she has an insight in Medicaid that I do not have, and she can only share so much with me.
Right.
But she sees people that have 11 children, right, or 10 or 7 or whatever, and all of the children's have different last name, right? It's
Hmm.
like, and they live with someone that has means, a job, we'll say, yet they don't marry. They live with these people. They collect on the welfare system, yet they're living in a very affluent area, a nice house and cars and all this stuff, but still collecting on welfare.
You say, wait a minute, you saying that this lady with 11 children is living good?
Yeah,
Is that what I'm hearing?
living, you wouldn't think that, and we have built a system, a welfare system, which I truly believe that most people that are on welfare don't know that they shouldn't be on welfare. They should be making steps to get off of welfare, but they don't know how to do it, or there's no means for them to do it, right? So you have
Yeah.
people like myself screaming, "Get a job!" You're deadbeat, you're off, whatever, right? Well, they don't know how to do it, or there's not a way to for them
There's
to
no
do.
willing to do it. If you're
Well,
gonna pay my way
they don't need to. There's no incentive for them to stop relying
to do
on the welfare of others um, to do it. And I think so. My wife came from a family. There were 7 children. Their mother didn't. My mother-in-law, she did not necessarily work a full-time job. They relied on her father for their income, and they would not. It was an embarrassment to get food stamps. That's what we called them back in the day. Now it's whatever. It was embarrassing for them. There was a level of embarrassment to accepting welfare that was, and I told her, and I said, well, you got to keep in mind that a lot of these people that are on these assistance program, it is generational, right? This is how my grandparents did it, my parents, and that's how I do it. I don't have to work because the government, taxpayers like you and I, provide this safety net. So there's no incentive, like you said, because I think it's a systemic issue that's been over generations that have been on these systems.
it. Hmm.
And
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of things that go into that. I agree.
But
You think
I was taught the same way. Don't get me wrong. I remember getting the old big block of government cheese and everything.
but you wasn't
Um,
proud of it. Well, you probably didn't know any better as a kid.
well, I was
But your
very
parents
young,
probably,
so we didn't work on it very. There was times when we would partake in it when things. My dad was a seasonal worker, if you will.
mhm.
Um, so during the winter time when there was no work, he would go on
Mhm.
unemployment, and we probably qualified for these assistance programs. But it
Yeah.
wasn't something they wanted. My parents wanted to be their own people and be their, not dependent on anybody but their own whatever. And that was
Mhm.
instilled in me through osmosis, if you will, that you don't want to be. My parents always said, you need to get a job, you need to provide for your family, those things. I ain't going to say that is the problem that people aren't realizing it, but they see that my grandparents were on, my parents were on this. This is how we do things. I
Yes.
personally think that is a lot of it. It's not taught to them that you don't want to do this. Sure, you need to know that those programs exist, and I think they should exist. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
Anything I'm
Mhm.
saying is not, but there needs to be a change, right? 50%, 50% of this country is on some form of welfare.
True.
And
Yeah,
the
I
other
mean, you're right.
50%, it's,
Excuse me. I
I
agree.
think there
I'm
just
not.
needs to be some kind of reform to the welfare. policies or program, whatever it is, that,
Well, you hit it right off the bat with the morality part of this thing. When you started saying the morals of this country, and then you started saying about what how you was taught. Yeah, these programs existed, and maybe you might have had to use them or whatever. Your family might have had to use them, but that wasn't. You didn't want to stay there. You realized it was assistance,
yeah,
and that it can't become the way. You know what I'm saying? So, but now it's fashionable to be on welfare. It's a cultural type situation. It's a
yeah,
culture of welfare, Muslim. They feel just deserving as a veteran. I deserve this welfare, and that's so there has been a deprogramming that has
yeah,
occurred. So people got to be, what I'm saying, you can change the rules, but you got to change folks' minds. You gotta make them you got to reinstill pride in individuals. You know what I'm saying? So the mindset can change. There's like, yeah, we want to strive and want to take care of ourselves, but now it's cool. It's cool to be on welfare, Section 8. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's the way that I should be doing it. And then I got my
yeah,
side hustle over here. Yeah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And no matter who you are, what whatever race you are, I mean, everybody's beginning to take advantage of the situation. It's no longer cool
yeah,
to work, you know. But our way, the method, me, your children, my children, Peaches does the same thing. She believes in not working, but she's working to not work. Okay,
yeah,
she's working to make herself financially independent of a darn job. That's the way you attain it, not by, hey, I just kick back and let the government take care of me. No, we're trying to work. I'm trying to work so I can be financially independent. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to work. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I got enough money coming in to take care of myself, so to speak. You're doing the same thing, and your children probably going to do the same thing because they was raised to do that. Mine are going to do the same thing because they was raised to do that. So what America's going to have to do, we're going to have to change that mindset that it's cool to be on welfare. When I was a kid, I'll say this and let you jump back on the mic. There were kids that had welfare, and it was kind of like a running joke. You're on welfare. You know what I'm saying? It was a
yeah,
thing that, it wasn't proud. You know what I'm saying? He made among that was on welfare became ashamed. Now we was kids and we was wrong, but that was the era that we lived in, and it wasn't cool. If you was on welfare, you try not to let mothers know.
oh yeah,
Actually,
absolutely. Same here. We didn't have
yeah,
the nice. I mean, we were poor. I mean, and
yeah,
we didn't really know it when we were real young, but it didn't come to light more until we were like teenagers.
yeah. Young late adolescents and teenagers, yeah. But now from my vantage point, it's cool to be on welfare. This is what you should be doing. The individuals that you vote for are preaching this doctrine. You deserve it, man. These guys are making millions of dollars. These guys are making millions of dollars. They don't care about you, but we do. We're gonna get
Yeah,
you some money. Them rich mugs out there. I mean, when you've been taught that, what I'm saying, they providing some stats. McDonald's made billions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? These rich, darn executives, they get all this money. Yeah, they need to be paying for your welfare. They need to be helping you. Yeah, man, shoot, man. Hey, it's a lot of stuff out there.
yeah.
But I work. You work. I'm going to work after we finish this show. You know what I'm saying? I could tap out maybe. I don't know. Get on some welfare.
I don't know.
But
I don't.
it's just
And and
hey,
there's
Kyle,
there's
I
a
could tap out, man.
yeah,
Get out of somewhere.
there's a ton of excuses people come up with. But I mean,
Yeah,
back to the original thing is, I guess, is
yeah,
everybody needs to vote. Learn.
yeah.
You should be voting, getting what you want, and you're on the losing battle if you're sitting there voting for people that are going to give you more free stuff. Because the moral of the story is it's not free. Someone's paying that bill. And I think a lot of people don't understand that these things are paid through your tax dollars, right?
Yeah.
You
I
sit there
think
and complain about
go
what
ahead.
this cost and that cost and da 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 da, you know.
The working class mugs are paying for this stuff. Now the upper echelon folks, their money, their wealth is creating more wealth. They know how to invest. They're investing their money,
Mhm.
They probably doing some stuff. They probably doing some insider trade. Nancy Pelosi,
Well, it
you
looks
make
like we lost them
80.
there for a minute.
I'm back. Am I still
Yeah,
here?
I don't know if
Okay.
it's, I think mine, I think it's me.
Okay. But yeah, man. So yeah. So it's a lot, and we don't have enough time. But yeah, folks, I would say this here. Start working. Work.
Yeah,
Make your money.
gotta do.
Become independent if you can.
Yeah, and if
Don't
you're,
rely on the government.
yeah, if you're voting for these free handouts, it's a,
Mhm.
it may be good for a little while, but you're going to lose in the long run because eventually
Yeah.
there's nobody going to be working to pay for stuff. They're going to be like, why? You get to that point and be like, why do I need to work? I can just get free stuff, you know?
Yeah. Like a bird feeder. We talked about that in like episode 6. These
Mhm.
birds come to the bird feeder and they eat and they eat and eat and get generational, right? And then they lose their ability to find worms and bugs and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then when you try to tend to this bird feeder, you just killed off a whole bunch of birds. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna die.
Yeah, that's
You know.
right.
Same thing with welfare. You don't
So,
forgot. You don't have the willpower to work. That's
so
why I work.
yeah, that's why we need to work. Well, that's why we're going to keep this episode a little bit shorter because a lot of
Yeah.
people's attention span. If you
Mhm.
made it this far, thanks for staying with us.
Like that.
Yep.
If you made it this far.
And if you like the content, like to hear us ramble on about stuff you probably already know, hit the old like button, subscribe, leave a comment. I love the comments. Um, I try to reply to everybody. If I haven't, I apologize, but I try to reply to everybody.
Mhm.
Have a great week, everybody. Thanks for watching. I'm going to give Bug the last word on here. Like,
Yeah.
subscribe, comment.
Okay. All right. Hey, last word. This little girl to my right, that girl right
Hmm.
there. Yeah, she graduated last week. She's about to go out into the wild blue yonder. She's about to become a working class citizen. She's
Good.
about to find out what I've been doing for a long time.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
about to
she's
kick
about to
that.
have a newfound respect for her dad.
Yeah,
So
she's
on
gonna.
that note,
So
hey,
the
we got
bird
another
feed.
taxpayer on the way.
Yeah, bird feeder's empty, and she's getting kicked out of the nest.
Getting kicked out of the nest, folks.
Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.
See y'all next time.